Francis Buchholz was a German rock bassist. Born on February 19, 1954 in Hanover, Germany. He discovered rock music as a child and was already playing bass in a band by age 15. In the early 1970s, Francis joined Dawn Road, and in 1973 that group merged with the iconic Scorpions. For nearly 20 years, he anchored the band's sound with his powerful, melodic bass lines, appearing on classic albums like Fly to the Rainbow, Love Drive, Blackout, and Love at First Sting. His playing helped shape hard rock anthems such as Rock You Like a Hurricane and Wind of Change. In 1992, Buchholz left the Scorpions to focus on family and other musical projects, later playing with Dreamtide and Michael Schenker's Temple of Rock. He also ran a successful PA and lighting company and wrote a book for bass players called Bass Magic. After a private battle with cancer, Francis Buchholz passed away peacefully on January 22, 2026, at age 71, surrounded by loved ones. Floyd, Uncle Floyd Vivino, was born Florio Vivino on October 19, 1951 in Paterson, New Jersey, into a musical family that sparked his love for performance. He became a beloved TV and stage entertainer, best known for The Uncle Floyd Show, a quirky comedy variety program that originally aired from 1974 to 2001, blending puppets, laughs, music, and wild guest appearances. Uncle Floyd's low-budget but unforgettable style earned him a cult following across New Jersey and New York, and the admiration of famous fans including David Bowie, John Lennon, and the Ramones. Beyond TV, Vivino was also a musician, comedian, and actor with cameos in films like Good Morning, Vietnam, and TV shows such as Law and Order. He continued performing live, often hundreds of shows a year, and later hosted radio and stream shows, keeping his unique spirit alive for decades. In 2022-2023, Vivino faced serious health challenges, including a stroke and battles with illnesses revealed publicly by him and family. On January 22, 2026, at age 74, Floyd Vivino peacefully passed away after a long struggle with health issues, leaving behind a legacy of laughter, music, and unforgettable eccentric television. Rob Hurst was born Robert George Hurst on 3 September 1955 in Camden, New South Wales, Australia, a future rock legend. He rose to fame as the co-founder and drummer of the influential Australian rock band Midnight Oil, forming the group in 1972 and helping drive its sound for decades with powerful rhythms and songwriting. With Midnight Oil, Hurst helped create iconic songs like Beds Are Burning, Blue Sky Mine, and The Dead Heart, and the band became known worldwide for its energetic performances and political messages. Beyond the Oils, he also played in bands like Ghostwriters and Backsliders, released solo material, and collaborated with his daughter, a musical connection he nurtured later in life. In 2023, Hurst was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, a tough battle he fought publicly for nearly 3 years. On 20th January 2026, Rob Hurst passed away at age 70, peacefully surrounded by loved ones. Tributes poured in from fans and fellow musicians, honoring his impact on music and culture. His legacy lives on in the thunderous beats that helped define a generation, a drummer, songwriter, and rock icon remembered world. Yvonne Lime, born Yvonne Glee Lime on April 7, 1935, in Glendale, California, was an American actress and philanthropist. She began her entertainment career in the 1950s, performing on television and in films. Early roles included appearances on Father Knows, best in the classic 1956 drama The Rainmaker with Katharine Hepburn and Burt Lancaster. Yvonne starred opposite a young Michael Landon in the cult favorite I Was a Teenage Werewolf, 1957, and appeared with Elvis Presley in Loving You. In 1959, she co-founded Child Help, a nonprofit dedicated to the prevention and treatment of child abuse and neglect, a mission that grew into one of the most respected organizations in its field. After marrying TV producer Don Feddersen in 1969, she retired from acting and focused on humanitarian work, helping build Child Help into a global force for children's welfare. Yvonne Lime Feddersen passed away peacefully at her home in Paradise Valley, Arizona on January 23, 2026, at age 90. leaving behind a legacy of art, compassion, and lifelong service to children. Her life bridged Hollywood's golden era and profound humanitarian impact, remembered for both screen presence and a heart for helping others. Patsy King was born Patricia Janet King on September 16, 1930, in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Destined to become a beloved screen and stage actress, she trained as a classical stage actress at Melbourne's National Theatre, performing Shakespeare and a variety of dramatic roles. Her professional career began in 1951, spanning theatre, radio, children's TV, and drama. On television, Patsy became a familiar face in early Aussie TV series like Homicide, Bellbird, Division 4, and more. But international fans remember her most as Governor Erica Davidson in the cult drama Prisoner, Cell Block H. She also shone as one of the original presenters on ABC's children's show Play School and appeared in classic kids programs. After a long, influential career in entertainment, Patsy King passed away on January 19, 2026, in Melbourne at age 95 after a short illness. Gladys Mae West was born on October 27, 1930, in rural Sutherland, Virginia, growing up on a small farm during the Jim Crow era. Showing extraordinary talent in math, she graduated valedictorian of her high school and earned a scholarship to Virginia State College, where she studied mathematics and later earned her master's degree. In 1956, she began a 42-year career at the U.S. Navy's Research Center in Dahlgren, Virginia, one of the few black women in her field, where she programmed early computers and tackled complex orbital and Earth-shaped calculations. West's pioneering work on mathematical models of the Earth, the geoid, and satellite data was a foundation of the Global Positioning System, GPS, the technology billions use every day to navigate the world. Though her contributions were little known for decades, later honors included induction into the U.S. Air Force Space and Missile Pioneers Hall of Fame and recognition as a true hidden figure of science. Gladys West passed away peacefully on January 17, 2026, at age 95, surrounded by loved ones, leaving a legacy that helps people around the globe find their way every day. Her life story from a segregated classroom to shaping the world's navigation systems and inspires curiosity, courage, and innovation. Kenny Morris was born Kenneth Ian Morris on February 1, 1957, in Essex, England. A creative soul who'd helped define the sound of post-punk music. Self-taught on drums, he joined Susie and the Banshees in 1977 as their first permanent drummer, bringing a tribal, tom-heavy style that stood out in the burgeoning punk scene. Morris played on the band's influential early records, including The Scream, 1978, and Join Hands, 1979, and helped shape their distinctive post-punk sound that inspired generations of artists. After leaving the band in 1979, he pursued a life of art, studying fine art and filmmaking, creating paintings, directing films, teaching art, and even running a gallery in Ireland. In later years, he returned to music, drumming with Dublin-based post-punk group Shrine of the Vampire, and completed a memoir titled A Banshee Left Wailing, slated for release in 2026. Kenny Morris passed away on January 15, 2026, at age 68, after a short illness in Cork, Ireland, leaving behind a legacy as an influential drummer, artist, and creative force. Loved by fans and peers alike, his powerful rhythms and artistic vision continue to echo through post-punk and beyond. Claudette Colvin was born on September 5, 1939, in Montgomery, Alabama. At just 15 years old, she made history on March 2, 1955, when she refused to give up her seat on a segregated bus 9 months before Rosa Parks. Colvin was arrested, handcuffed, and jailed, becoming one of the earliest voices of resistance in the civil rights movement. Despite her bravery, she was largely overlooked due to her age and social pressures of the time. Later, she became one of the 4 key plaintiffs in Browder vs. Gale, the landmark case that ended bus segregation in Montgomery. Claudette Colvin is still alive today, and her legacy stands as a powerful reminder that courage has no age. Her story continues to inspire generations fighting for justice and equality. John Forte was born January 30, 1975, in Brooklyn, New York, and grew up surrounded by music and creativity. A musical prodigy, He learned violin as a child and eventually found his way into hip-hop, becoming a key contributor to the Fugees' 1996 Grammy-winning album. The score is part of the Refugee Camp All-Stars. Forte released his own solo records like Poli-Sci and I, John, blending lyrical strength with soulful production, collaborating with many artists and earning critical praise. In 2000, his life took a dramatic turn when he was arrested on drug-related charges and sentenced to 14 years in prison, a sentence commuted after 7 years by President George W. Bush, with strong advocacy from friends. After his release, Forte returned to music and also composed for films and documentaries, continuing to evolve as an artist and voice in hip-hop culture. Tragically, John Forte was found dead on January 12, 2026, at age 50 in his home on Martha's Vineyard, with no signs of foul play. The exact cause is under investigation. He is remembered as a gifted musician, collaborator, and storyteller whose work left a lasting mark on hip-hop and beyond. Trevor A. Toussaint was remembered as a quiet yet determined individual whose life reflected resilience, kindness, and purpose. Born into a modest family, Trevor grew up valuing hard work, integrity, and compassion for others. Throughout his life, he remained deeply connected to his community, earning respect for his sincerity and dedication. His passing marked a moment of reflection and loss for family, friends, and loved ones. Though his life may not have been widely known, his legacy lives on in the memories he created and the lives he touched. Marcus Gilbert was born on January 10, 1959, in England. He rose to fame in the late 1970s and 1980s as a talented British actor, becoming especially popular for his roles in television dramas and fantasy series. He gained wide recognition for performances in shows like Big Deal and films such as Rambo 3, where he appeared alongside major Hollywood stars. Known for his strong screen presence, Gilbert built a solid career during a competitive era of British television and cinema. Over time, he stepped away from the spotlight, choosing a more private life. Marcus Gilbert is not still alive, and while no longer active in mainstream acting, his work remains appreciated by fans of classic British film and TV. His legacy reflects a memorable chapter of 1980s entertainment history. Derek Martin, beloved English actor best known as Charlie Slater from EastEnders, has died aged 92. Born Derek William Rapp on April 11, 1933 in Bow, he began in the industry in his late 20s, initially as a stuntman, before transitioning into acting with roles in classic British shows like Z-Cars, Doctor Who, Law and Order, and The Chinese Detective. In 2000, Derek landed the role of Charlie Slater on EastEnders, a warm-hearted taxi driver and family man. He played the character until 2011 and returned for guest appearances through 2016. He was a devoted father to 2 sons. Derek Martin passed away on January 10, 2026, at age 92. Sheila Burnett is a name with very limited public historical records, and there is no widely documented information confirming her profession or public life. Because of this, no verified death date or cause of death is publicly available. What is known is that Sheila Burnett is remembered primarily through personal, family, or local history rather than mainstream media or celebrity records. Her story represents many individuals whose lives may not be widely recorded but still hold deep meaning to those who knew them. As of now, there is no confirmed public record of her passing, and details about her life remain private. Her name reminds us that every life has value, whether known to the world or cherished quietly within a community. Tina Packer was born on June 30, 1938, in England. She is a renowned theater director, actress, and founder of the Shakespeare and Company Theater in Massachusetts. Tina dedicated her life to bringing Shakespeare to modern audiences, making classical theater powerful, accessible, and deeply human. Through decades of teaching, directing, and performing, she inspired generations of actors and audiences worldwide. Her work reshaped American classical theater and earned her lasting respect in the arts community. As of today, Tina Packer is still alive, and her legacy continues through the artists she mentored and the theater she built. Bob Weir is an American musician, singer, and songwriter, best known as a founding member of the legendary rock band Grateful Dead. Born on October 16, 1947, in San Francisco, California, Weir helped shape the sound of psychedelic rock with his unique rhythm guitar style and thoughtful songwriting. Joining the Grateful Dead in 1965, he co-wrote classics like Truckin', Sugar Magnolia, and Cassidy. After the band's long run ended in 1995, Bob Weir continued performing with groups such as Rat Dog, Dead and Company, and Wolf Bros, keeping the Dead spirit alive for new generations. As of today, Bob Weir is alive, continuing to tour and influence rock history as a true icon of American music. Michael Reagan was born on March 18, 1945, in Los Angeles, California. He is the adopted son of former U.S. President Ronald Reagan and actress Jane Wyman. Unlike his famous parents, Michael built his own path as a conservative political commentator, radio talk show host, and author. He became widely known through The Michael Reagan Show and his outspoken defense of his father's legacy and American conservative values. Michael Reagan also wrote books sharing personal insights about his life and family. As of now, Michael Reagan is alive, and there are no confirmed reports of his death. John Cunningham, 1930–2026. John Cunningham was a prolific Broadway actor who appeared in such acclaimed productions as the original stagings of Cabaret, 1776, Company, 6 Degrees of Separation, and The Sisters Rosenzweig, and whose core screen credits included roles in Mystic Pizza, Dead Poets Society, and School Ties. Death. He died on January 6, 2026, at age 93. Jim McBride was an influential American film director and screenwriter, best known for his bold, experimental style. Born in 1941, he became part of the New Hollywood movement, pushing creative boundaries in cinema. He gained major recognition with David Holtzman's Diary, and later directed the cult classic remake, Breathless, in 1983, starring Richard Gere. McBride was admired for blending realism with innovation, inspiring generations of filmmakers. Throughout his career, he remained a fearless storyteller who challenged traditional filmmaking rules. Jim McBride passed away in 2023, leaving behind a lasting legacy in independent and modern American cinema. His work continues to influence directors and film lovers around the world.